Is Sniffies bringing cruising to the digital age? Hey guys, Michael Pizzulo here, psychotherapist in West Hollywood, working mostly with gay men. So as we know, there are tons of dating apps and hookup apps out there. Some, take off and become quite popular, and others kind of fall flat. One that has become very popular over the past few years is Sniffies. If you're not familiar, Sniffies was launched in 2018, and it takes sort of like the grinder grid, excuse me, it takes the grinder grid to a new level with geo-targeting and an interactive map, and it plays on hookup culture in a different way that's become very popular, and I think is saying a lot about the psychology of the modern gay man. So there's a few things that I want to offer as I've been reflecting on this. Is one is, I think there is a desperate desire to bring cruising back. Cruising, was obviously very popular back when gay folks couldn't meet and hook up publicly, so they would have to go to parks or anonymous public spaces and, get to it. That's obviously changed quite a bit with gay rights and freedoms and so on and so forth, but it seems like there's almost this push to bring cruising back. And I think there's a few reasons for that. One, I think there's almost this like rebellious aspect that a lot of folks are leaning into. I think particularly like Gen Z gay men are leaning into. And also too, that it was just fun, and it's something that people kind of miss. So I think that Sniffies has become popular because of this cruising aspect. Another thing is, I think there's a backlash against the polished manufacturedness of, if that's a word, of the other apps. The other apps, the grinders, the whatnots, the Tinders, people kind of know the deal at this point. You're gonna get a very curated, manicured overview of a person if you look at their profile with their best pictures and their best this and so on and so forth. And I think there's almost like this desperate drive for authenticity that people are really seeking. And in a certain sense, Sniffies gives them that, because again, you're just sort of looking at someone, not looking at someone, but you're sort of matching with someone or seeing someone on a map, and you're just kind of going for it in a more organic, authentic way in real time, rather than going through sort of like their highlight reel that they put together on Instagram. So I think there's a drive towards authenticity that a lot of gay men are craving, and Sniffies offers that. The other thing, and this is kind of, maybe implied, is that there's a spontaneity to it as well. Apps originally developed really with the purpose of making hookups quick and easy, and I think they're anything but that now. The process of finding someone can be very laborious, and lots of messaging back and forth and trading this and making plans and canceling plans, and it seems almost like it takes longer to close the deal sometimes on an app than it does if you just meet someone in person. And it seems like Sniffies bypasses that as well. It brings it back to this like immediate gratification, this spontaneity, this playfulness, this rebelliousness that seems to have gotten lost in the other and on the other apps. So I think that's another reason why we're seeing this become more and more popular. So those are kind of like the three things I would say are leading the charge of the curiosity. There are risks, of course, too. We do know that when you meet someone on an app, obviously you don't know them, and so the anonymous factor can be, dangerous. And if you're really going into an anonymous hookup, like on Sniffies, for example, where they may not even have a picture and it's just a location, you're meeting them in public, then yes, you do want to be aware that you are taking on more of a risk, which for some people can be part of the fun and part of the thrill and part of the arousal, and that's all good and fine. But you also don't want to kid yourself and act as though, you can't encounter danger. So you do want to be aware of that as you're playing around with these apps and encountering all these different things. But I think more importantly, it's an interesting time for the gay culture to think about, are we craving more authenticity? A lot of original gay male psychology was based off of this drive for perfectionism, and a lot of this was made popular in books like The Velvet Rage, but it seems like more and more people are tired of the persona and the image, and more curious about feeling authentically connected. I think particularly younger generations as well. So I think that apps like Sniffies may actually become more and more popular, and the other ones may become less and less, because they're bringing back this organic, raw way of connecting in a way that just feels more real and more fluid and more organic. So those are my thoughts overall. Let me know what you guys think if you've had positive experiences on hookup apps, particularly like Sniffies, or negative ones. I think it's good that we open up the conversation and make it clear that we want to learn from one another, and understand one another's experiences rather than offering any kind of like judgment or scorn or anything like that. We're all figuring this out as we go along, even therapists like myself. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you like content like this, please subscribe to my channel, Therapy for Gay Men. And if you want to work with me directly on any issue pertaining to gay male identity, I will put the link in the description and you can book a consult with me. So thanks, guys.